So this video is in response to a question that was posted on the Autodesk Inventor community Facebook page, and Kevin Sanchez was just asking if a solid sweep mode is the correct way to model this push and twist connection. I believe it's called a bayonet mount or bayonet pin style connection, and usually there's a spring, and then the shaft that you're pushing this collar onto has a pin protruding, and that pin can lock in this spot here. So let's hop into Inventor and take a look. I think it does make sense to use the solid body sweep just because both the tool that cuts this collar and the pin that ride on it will be cylinders that need to follow a path and fit the shape. So in this case it'll go down, and then it'll actually rotate about the center axis of the collar, and then the last little bit I think is the tricky part. Is it's both rotating and going up, so it'll follow a helical pattern, like a coil shape for that last little bit. And so you can't use a straight line, and I think you have to use a 3D sketch to define the path properly, so that the center line of this pin is always pointing to the center axis of the collar. So I'm going to just move this guy, and then I'm going to use this collar solid to define my 3D sketch. So I'm going to start a 3D sketch. I'm going to intersect this with this face to give me a line there. I have a line drawn in this plan view for the rotation. I just said it's going to rotate 45 degrees before kicking up there, so I'm going to include that geometry. That. I'm going to select this to reference, and then for the helical curve I'm just going to select the center point and then that point. I'm going to say it's going to start here. It's going to have a diameter that matches the OD. I'm just going to say this is 4 and the revolutions is small. I'm going to say that's about 1/8 of a revolution, so it looks something like that. Could be maybe a little taller. And then I just need to constrain these points to both the face just to lock it in place. And then I'm not sure if this arc came through, so I'm just gonna draw one in my sketch, and then finally the line right here, and that should be all I need. Now when I put my pin in and do my sweep, have body selection selected, and then the curve is going to be this guy, and I have it set to cut, and you can kind of see that looks right, but as soon as I hit the body it gives you a pretty good profile. So you can see that is coming around, and it's staying perpendicular to the face. The center line looks like it's going through properly, so I'm going to leave that and hit OK. And then that looks about right. Maybe as a check, it wouldn't hurt to grab a point where it ends up there from this sketch, and just kind of make sure that if we do an axis from here to here, it goes through center. And then you could just double check with some work planes that it looks right, I guess. So if I look at that guy, yeah, looks like center of the pin hits the axis. I don't see any faces, so that tells me this is square to that view. So yeah, I think that's how I would do it. I don't know if there's a better way, but it seems pretty slick to me.